Perfect. Thank you very much to Thomas. We are just speeding ahead, and Rory is even speeding way ahead. I'm very happy to introduce Rory Preddy. He's a senior cloud advocate for Java at Microsoft USA, and he's going to share with us programming for accessibility with accessibility insights. Rory, please.
Thank you, Michal, and hopefully you can see my screen. A lot of you have already followed me on Twitter. You can follow me on @Rory Preddy. And what do accessibility and advocates do? Well, we make wondrous experiences for our customers and our developers. So let's start. So first of all, who am I? So I have achondroplasia. Let me do a little curtsy. I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I'm 4'1". Caucasian, and got a scar from bumping my head, but I have dwarfism, achondroplasia, so I'm pretty short. I wouldn't call myself a little person as much as a stout, little compact person. And I make do with life. You can see there I built on my midlife crisis, my BMW 335i. This is my car pedals, and I use chairs where I need to, and here's me trying to get coffee and trying my best to get through. But, you know, we've seen here with everything we've done, with all the talks that we've done, and a lot even brought tears to my eyes, because we're still suffering from the hydra, the bug hydra. So every time you chop a bug off, another one kind of rears its head, because we all live in empathy bubbles. You've never lived in my shoes. I've never lived in yours. And we battle to understand how to get into those mindsets of those individuals. And then as a result, we fail because we think that we're doing the right thing, but we're not able to. So I've got a plan today, not too much time, but I'm going to define accessibility, understand the accessibility motivators, discuss milestones, implement tools. We've got so many delicious tools to show you. And then I'm going to show you how to measure, improve, and automate. So first, accessibility, and you've probably heard this before, accessibility is innovation. And accessibility, if you follow it from inclusive design to compliance to productivity, you lead into innovation, because you take yourself out of that kind of bubble, and you do what you know is right for your customers and audience. And it's not disability. Let's also clarify disability. Disability is not a personal health condition. You don't go to a doctor and you say, I'm not feeling too good, and he says, yeah, I think you have the disability. You only have it when you have a mismatched human interaction. Like, I bought a scale, going through a midlife crisis, jumped on it, put my details there, and it called me all horrible names because I didn't realize I was so short. So we've also discussed the WCAG accessibility design principles. I'm not going to discuss this too much. Perceivable, operable, understandable, and robust. But there are thousands of those actual features here, and we're going to do a little demo a little bit later on how you can actually get a hold of and really get the grasp of those accessibilities, because there are motivators to why you need to understand these WCAG features. First of all, stick and carrot. Let's do stick. The US 21st Century Digital Experience Act and the EU Parliament Directive on Digital Accessibility says everyone has to be WCAG 2.1 AA compliant. Easier said than done, but I like to think that it's the carrot. And best summed up by Bill Gates, for most of human history, we put our innovative capacity into improving the quantity of life. Because we're living longer, our focus is starting to shift towards improving the quality of life, getting and popping that empathy bubble. And once we pop the empathy bubble, we go from pity to sympathy to empathy to compassion. And you do that by using, persona spectrums. And you can create these persona spectrum labs. You've got Claudia, Ashley, and Ron. And you sit and you take your bubble and you take yourself out of the bubble. You can access a lot of these persona spectrums. I'll give you the slides to the organizers to share with you later. And once you do that, also, you can start to do inclusive design. So inclusive design, you recognize exclusion, your persona spectrums, solve for one, extend to many, learn from diversity. And we touched on, Yuval mentioned on learning from AI. And here at Microsoft, we have our AI that actually learns from your experience. So the persona spectrum, this is an amputee, one arm injury, and new parent. And if you look at the US Center for Statistics, the permanent disability there, the amputee, is only 26,000. But when you sum them up, you get 21 million, because if you look at the totality of accessibility requirements, there's 3 billion people out there who need that accessibility. So you have your persona spectrums. You've looked at how to extend to when many, and then you take your scenarios. You've got your ticketing scenario, you buy a ticket for an airline, registration, navigation, checkout, you superimpose there, and everything changes. You can see now responsive design, captures, font and color options, single sign-on, callback help, and then right at the end, AI adjustment. You put in your accessibility details, and AI changes the process to accommodate you. So let's look at milestones, and we've seen shift left, but typically you have the bolt-on right at the end, like me and my BMW. But everyone now is saying, do more in the beginning. Shift left through the design process. This is the software design process, and bring in accessibility throughout the entire process. And how you do that with tools. So introducing Accessibility Insights. And Accessibility Insights is actually paired with our partner DQ Labs, and it allows you to use their engine and Chrome or Edge plugin, and it tests your accessibility requirements. We've got Accessibility Insight for web, for Windows, for CI/CD, so DevOps, for Android, and also for newly released GitHub Actions. And what it does, it uses the X engine, so you can use that, but it scans all of your systems, and it does it throughout the development process. So I'm not only speaking on just bolt-on, but now you can use it in your DevOps process. So we've got it in Microsoft.com, GitHub.com, Microsoft X Pipeline, samples, and it gives you a view of exactly what and how accessible your software is before those problems, before the hardware rears its ugly head. And once you have that, what about AI? So introducing an Immersive Reader. Now, Immersive Reader is a cognitive services that we created, and it's bundled with our accessible Office products. You just click on Accessible Reader, and it's our learning tools, and you get the ability to create your websites and your app accessible. But Rory, what are you saying? I don't want to use Office tools. This is available as a standalone tool that you can just pop into your accessible or inaccessible websites. And I've got a nice little demo that I'm going to do later. And it can go and can create AA compliance with one click of a button. So Immersive Reader allows you to take language, translate into 60 language, pronunciation, syllables, and also pictures. But what about something a little bit more? But what about AI? So introducing Azure Computer Vision. And what that does, it takes narration. So the biggest win recently was alt text though, but this does it for you, but it does it better than a human. Now we entered the No Caps Facebook challenge, and what happened is that our AI beat the human readers there for captioning. So you can see here are three individuals, Satya Nadella, Bill Gates, and Steve Ballmer, but they're posing for a picture. And we took our linguistics AI and paired it with our computer vision and allowed us to say Satya Nadella, Bill Gates, Steve Ballmer posing for a photo with a compliance and a probability. So I've got a nice little demo that I've got here. So the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to look at the accessibility insights. So I'm going out of there and let me go into Chrome. And the first thing you want to do is you want to find a badly accessible website. So I've got my accessible website here. This is the inaccessible homepage. As some of you have seen that, w3.org. And you can see here, they've got no alt text here. They've done horrible things in the background with the HTML. And I can go into my Chrome plugin here, and I can go FastPass, and it will give me an instant view of the accessibility issues here. I've got all of the issues here, color contrast, but more importantly, it also visually represents that there. So I can actually go, wow, what is the issue here? It gives me the HTML that I need. I can even file an issue straight into GitHub and show people what the issue is. And once I've done that, then I can also say, I can't fix these problems. Now I need to bring in Immersive Reader. So this is Immersive Reader, and I've switched on the text. You can click on here, and I've got this running in a little JavaScript script there that I've used. And Immersive Reader, if I click on Immersive Reader, hopefully you've got the text, the sound there, it'll take your entire website and it'll convert it into a accessible.
Immersive Reader is a tool that implements proven techniques to improve.
But that's just visual impairment. What about actual learning ability? This is all our learning tools here. And second of all, we can do line focus for ADHD, picture dictionary. And let's take a language. Recently, I'm Afrikaans, South African, but let's take French. It's a pretty difficult language to master. Let's go French here, French, Canadian, French, France. and we're going to translate that document. And now we've got Parlez-vous français?
Éprouvé pour améliorer la compréhension de la lecture pour les lecteurs émergents, les apprenants de langue et les personnes
includes AI, and it takes through that AI adjustment, like Yuval mentioned there, and it superimposes over there with accessibility insights to do the initial testing, to the DevOps pipelines and processes using GitHub Actions and Azure DevOps to do the continuous testing, and then right at the end to do the AI adjustment to make sure you can actually bring everyone into the fourth industrial revolution, which is to improve the quality of everyone in every organization to achieve more. Thank you so much for today. I've learned so much about the speakers, the incredible speakers that we've had today. And the last slide is the link through of everything you need to know, everything I mentioned there, Microsoft.com/accessibility. We've discussed empathy and how to pop that bubble, shift left, and then automate with AI. Over to you, Michal.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Hold on. Thank you very much, Rory. And it's always great to see what you guys are doing. And I think that one of the good aspects of these webinars, you're doing such amazing stuff, but not everybody at the end users know about it. So I really appreciate you coming and sharing with us